Chubby. Welcome to the show. Today is episode 77. We're almost there. Today's the level 4 elephant. We're going to be talking about human rights and what does that constitute. As we always start, the definition. Human rights are moral principles or norms for certain standards of human behavior and regularly protected in municipal and international law. A right that is believed to belong justifiably to every person. This is the original logo for the human rights, right? The human rights logo combines the silhouette of a hand with that of a bird and a white thumb grabbing the bird. It is intended as a peaceful contribution towards strengthening human rights and as such is meant to be used across cultural and language borders. And that is why I chose this particular logo that you see, but I just turned it into red for aesthetically, pleasing for no filters, no fears. What is human rights to you? Let us know here on the show. Leave a comment below. What does that constitute for you? But for me, is everybody equally under everything? Like everybody has the same rights. So I asked my question: what is considered human rights? What are the human rights that we have? And this is what they are. Is Article 1 through 30 in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, right? So, right to equality, freedom from discrimination, right to life, liberty, personal security, freedom from slavery, freedom from torture and degrading treatment, right to recognition as a person before law, right to equality before the law, right to remedy by competent tribunal, right to remedy by competent tribunal, freedom for arbitrary arrest and exile, right to fair public hearing, right to be considered innocent until proven guilty, freedom from interference with privacy, family, home, and correspondence, right to free movement in and out of country, right to asylum in other countries from persecution, right to a nationality and the freedom to change it, right to marriage and family, right to own property, freedom of belief and religion, freedom of opinion and information, freedom of the right of peaceful assembly and association, right to participate in government and in free elections, right to social security, right to desirable work and to join trade unions, right to reset, a right to rest and leisure, right to adequate living standard, right to education, right to participate in the cultural life of community, right to a social order that articulates this document, community duties essential to free and full development, and freedom from state or personal interference in the above rights. Basically, so Articles 1 to 30 just stated this, but most of us don't even have all of these rights. Most don't even have rights to freedom, right to life, liberty, and personal security. Some of us are denied this. And that is the argument we have what it constitutes as human rights. For example, clean water is considered a basic human right, a right to education. These are things that some are not even stated here. Article 26 is right to education, but some are denied this in some countries, in some places. So this is why some people fight for this in other countries, because the right to basic human needs is essential, is needed. Some people argue with, well, if they weren't born into it. Yeah, that's your privilege talking. You were born into all of these things. But some people, some countries, regardless of what they have or don't have, I feel like they need this. this is a basic human rights to have clean water. Again, with that one example. Also, I feel like the right to make your own bodily decisions, like with your own body, I think that's a basic human right. I think we deserve, all of us, to make a decision of our own. And I also think universal health is a basic human right. You know, that's that, no argument there, is there? What other things do you guys consider to be basic human rights that are basically not given to us just because the government says? I don't think it is, but clean water, the right to education, the right for universal health care, those things to me are important. They are, to me, considered part of, you know, because if we go based on what the definition of human rights are, they're like moral principles, certain standards of human behavior. So how come some could get universal health care and some are struggling to even get it? That's just one example. That's just the basic of the example of we have here. And this is what we have, human rights activists. So in 411 with Chubi, these are the following names that we have. This is Nadia Murad in 2014. ISIS abducted Murad, an Iraqi Sahidi, and took her to Mosul. Sorry for butchering all these names. I apologize in advance. There, she was forced to convert to Islam and held in sexual slavery for 3 years. After escaping, she began her life as an activist. Speaking to the UN Security Council in 2015, she spread awareness about human trafficking and refugees despite the dangers of speaking out. In 2017, she published a memoir, and in 2018, she shared the Nobel Peace Prize with Denis Mukwege, another activist who fights against sexual violence as a weapon of war. So this was Nadia Murad. The second one I'm going to talk about is Raif Badawi. Badawi is a writer and activist from Saudi Arabia. He created the website Free Saudi Liberals, where he wrote about free speech. In 2012, he was arrested on a charge of insulting Islam and brought to court for charges involving apostasy in his rights. He criticized religion in Saudi Arabia. He was originally given a death sentence, but then sentenced to 1,000 lashes and 10 years in prison in 2014. In 2015, he endured 15 lashes in public. While in prison, he had undertaken hunger strikes to protest the conditions. His wife, Insaf Hirdar, lives in Canada and has accepted awards on his behalf. Again, sorry for butchering all the names. Next on our list is Alexia Salvador, a trans woman in Brazil, one of the most dangerous places in the world for the LGBTQ plus community. Alexia Salvador is also a pastor. In 2015, the Metropolitan Community Church appointed her as an assistant pastor, so she became the first trans reverend in Latin America. In 2018, she ran for a state representative position. She's currently the vice president of the Brazilian Association of Homo-Trans-Affective Families. She speaks on issues like adoption, different family formations, and education. Next is Michelle Bachelet. She's Chile's first female president. Michelle Bachelet now serves as the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. She has a long history of activism. In 1975, she was detained and tortured for weeks after speaking out against Chile's military dictatorship. She went on to serve as Chile's president from 2006 to 2010 and 2014 to 2018. A physician by training, she spent her presidencies strengthening the rights of countries most vulnerable, including women and the LGBTQ community. Her appointment as the UN's High Commissioner was well received by the international community. Next will be Nancy Hirsch. Since 2011, Norwegian and Lebanese activist Nancy Hirsch has been working with Amnesty International. In 2016, Hirsch published the article, "We Are the Shameless Arab Women in Our Time Starts Now." With other activists in Norway, she started the Shameless movement, reclaiming a word used to degrade Arab women. For her work promoting freedom, feminism, and anti racism, Hirsch was awarded the Freedom of Expression Tribute Award. In 2017, she co wrote the book Shameless with Sophia Nesrin and Mina Bile. Hirsch also worked as an organizational advisor with the Association of NGOs Norway. Only in her early 20s, Hirsch is an activist to watch out for. Next in our list is Befeqadu Hailu, an Ethiopian writer and activist. Hailu co-founded Zone 9. This blogging platform allows people to speak against human rights violation in Ethiopia. Hailu was charged with terrorism because of his work promoting human rights. He has been in prison at 4 different times but has never received a conviction. He has received numerous awards, including the International Press Freedom Award in 2015 and the 2019 International Writer of Courage at the Pinter Prize ceremony. Despite the risk, Elu continues to write and promote human rights. I apologize if I butchered your name. And our last in our list is a young one that we all know about, Greta Thunberg. Arguably the most famous human rights activist right now. She travels the world to draw attention to the climate crisis. Only 17 years old, she began her activism in 2018 by skipping school to stand outside the Swedish parliament calling for action. Other students joined as the movement went global. She was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize in 2019 and won Amnesty International's top human rights award in focusing on climate change. Thunberg draws attention to the fact that the climate crisis is a human rights crisis. Thank you to all these human rights activists for fighting different fights in your own rights in your own country. We appreciate all of your hard work. It starts for oneself. Like if we notice something like this, like when Greta started, climate change is a human right crisis. It is, because it's going to affect us all also. So I wanted to say thank you to all of you. And this is all that we have for 411 with Chubi. But yeah, it's just a lot going on right now in the world, and we are trying to put as much emphasis and tackle every single problem we see or we have. But we need all these activists, all these human rights activists. We need everybody and everyone. Yes, December 10th is Human Rights Day. So this episode is going to come on December 8th. And on December 8th, it is Pansexual Pride Day. So I just want to say happy Pansexual Pride to everybody, and including myself. So just want to say hi to all the LGBTQ babies. And that's it. So on December 10th is Human Rights Day. So this episode is coming out on the perfect time. Yes, there's so many things going on in the world right now that as much as we try to put focus on every single thing, there's always something that's going to fall through the cracks. I do have quote quotes for you all. Here are some of the quotes that I have for you. Give to every human being every right that you claim for yourself. Robert Greene. That is so true. That is true. If you have it, why can't everybody else have it? Peace can only last where human rights are respected, where the people are fed, and where individuals and nations are free. Dalai Lama. Human rights are not a privilege conferred by government. They are every human being's entitlement by virtue of his humanity. Mother Teresa. Some values must be universal, like human rights and the equal worth of every human being. Bayesian of values. You're not under attack when others gain rights and privileges. You're not under attack when others gain rights and privileges you've always had. Unknown. That one I left it for last because it's true. Just because someone else is gaining more rights that you already had, you're not losing it. You already had it. So in reality, you cannot argue that there something's being taken away from you when you need to acknowledge yourself that you already had that. So far, I hope you guys are enjoying the episode. It's short, What more can we say about human rights when we've experienced that ourselves in 2021? We've all experienced these things being taken away from you when Flint didn't have clean water. Remember that? Yes, we all remember that. And there's certain things out there that arguably like can't deny that is necessary. Everybody deserves clean water. And when the pipeline was happening or is still happening as we speak, we can't deny that there's no arguing with that. But I hope that you guys are enjoying the episode and give your 2 cents too. I want to know what you guys have to say about this and how you guys feel about this issue. Um, Other than that, my final thoughts on this is that we all have to come together and fight. We have to fight for what's right. We have to fight for our siblings. We have to be the neighbor we want to be. Be kind to each other, and if you don't understand something, always ask. If you don't understand why a particular issue is an issue, try to understand more about it so you yourself can get educated and bring more awareness to the issue. But do not discard it right away just because you don't understand it. And remember that everybody's fighting their own fight as well. All the countries right now are going through a cosmic change, a universal change, and it is up to us, all the activists, all the people that care, to bring awareness to everything. So be kind and read. Reading is essential, and just try to be there as much as you can and try to educate yourself, and that is all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I know you guys are used to an hour long, but this human rights episode is straight to the point because there's nothing much we could say that we already don't know. But please read and share, share, share. So leave out your comments below, ask questions, whatever you guys have to say. Correct me if I said something wrong. We're always here to learn as well. And until next episode, stay fearless, everyone.